But still, I do think that by now, some of these people that foresaw that the use of audiovisual techniques would have its place in teaching. So, you know, the radio was promoted as being you know, the next thing. Also, when VHS was there, but when video discs came, everybody you know, promised that probably this was going to take over from a textbook. And to be honest, I have two teenage daughters, and also my students. If I have them read a case, it's cumbersome. You know, they've read, but not all that good, and so they can't really recall what they've seen. So the power of video, of images, is actually quite strong, especially with this new generation. If I think of, you know, did you write it down? They said, no, but I took a picture. So I think that the use of video can be actually quite useful in some sort of blended learning environment. Not sure what that is. I think it's copying some items, so that's why it looks a little bit scrambled. It's not supposed to look like this. So why use video in your educational practice? I think because it indeed has specific characteristics of video which can assist with the learning of the students, and also because video can support you as an educator, as a teacher. So I think that, for instance, video can be quite useful in knowledge transfer. You can get your message across much faster, much more direct, much more long-lasting, if you like, through showing some images which are in sync with what you're trying to, of course, convey. So indeed, modeling and demonstration can be useful. Also, visualization. Students from studies are shown to recollect things much more if they actually have visual stimulation rather than just, you know, you talking and showing some slides. Also, making some things concrete is sometimes much easier through videos than trying to relay a story through just in a session. Also, students can be quite motivated by the use of videos. It appeals to them, so they are much more engaged in the case than if it's just through a text. And also, what video does allow is for some more personalization. So sometimes, you know, when students cannot even attend, they also can look at the video afterwards, and they can go through that video at their own pace, if you like. So sometimes, you know, I'm not sure how it is in your classes, but mine are quite diverse. So you have some very good students, but to be honest, I also have some not so good students, let's put it that way. And so they can take their own time in reviewing the material at their own pace, perhaps a little bit slower than some of these fast students that otherwise get discouraged if you take too long to explain certain things. And also, you know, video can support indeed your efficiency and organization of you as a teacher. And of course, new educational formats are always appreciated if it's the same at your institution as it is in mine. If you make an effort in order to facilitate and improve the teaching, and of course, also universities are impressed, and it you know, can be useful in some sort of promotion material. Right. So, what have you in mind for our video case library? So, we in fact are going to develop some video cases. But actually based on, let's say, witness statement, based on CEOs, managers talking about their problems. So it's not like, you know, me explaining some issue and then trying to elicit certain responses. No, it's actually companies, CEOs, managers talking about their problems, about the choices that they had to make. And then, of course, students can, you know, pitch their ideas, and then you can relate it to what other companies have decided and how it feeds in with what they had in mind. And then afterwards, you actually relay it to, let's say, some more theoretical concepts and some frameworks to allow them to think more in a more structural and theoretical way about some of these decisions that companies made. And you can do that by developing some knowledge clips so that are part of the full video case, if you like. So it allows, indeed, for making some of these theories and frameworks more concrete and engaging for and motivating the students. Okay, so that's what we are going to do with the use of some video support team. And the other part is actually something that you can do yourself. So some of these knowledge clips, as you might know, you can develop, you know, by sitting at your own laptop and just casting, you know, your slides, for instance, with some explanation, or having a talking head. Right, so without further ado, let me introduce briefly the panelists that we have lined up for you. So I'm going to start with Nugget Vardar, who is running this EIBA marketing communications consultancy, and so she has already a lot of experience in developing some of these video cases. So she'll show you an example of some of the things that she has done. Before we move on to some of the other partners, Hilary Vos from University of Leeds, who will talk a little bit about video cases and experiential education tool. Before Katarzyna from Poznan University will talk about institutional settings, and Andrea Jaklic will finish with video teaching and the pros and cons, perhaps, of what the medium entails. Okay. As you can see, we have also made up a survey because we want to find out what topics you would like. What type of videos would you care for? So in order to get some input for the process that we're still going to go through in the next 3 years, we would like to get your feedback, your input. So this is a survey. If you use either the short link or this QR code on your phone, you should end up at a survey, which we would be very grateful